In a world of noise and distraction, there is one place where wisdom still whispers, where voices of greatness echo through time. Welcome to the Motivational Library.
1 hour a day can change your life. Not someday, not eventually, but starting now, if you choose to use it with intention. This isn't just a statement. This is a challenge to the way you've been living. Every single day, life hands you time, and most people waste it scrolling, complaining, waiting, or repeating the same empty routine, hoping something will magically shift. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. If you can commit just one focused hour a day to yourself, everything begins to change. Not because the hour is special, but because you become someone who takes their life seriously. This audiobook isn't built on hype or motivational noise. It's built on real actions, real discipline, and real transformation. Inside these chapters, you'll learn how to take that single hour and turn it into clarity, momentum, confidence, and a version of yourself you've been trying to reach for years. Ask yourself honestly, how long have you been stuck? How long have you been saying you'll change soon? How many times have you waited for the perfect moment, only to watch another month slip by? Transformation doesn't require your entire day. It doesn't require a perfect plan. It requires 1 hour, consistently, intentionally, relentlessly. That's how lives are rebuilt. That's how futures are reshaped. That's how you finally become the person you keep imagining. Your hour starts now. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Give yourself 1 hour to rise every day. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a breakthrough moment. You need 1 hour. Every single day. 1 hour that belongs to you. Not the world, not your distractions, not your excuses. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they never learned how to use their time in a way that builds them instead of draining them. They scatter their energy. They chase noise. They stay busy but not better. This is where your transformation begins. 1 full hour dedicated to your growth. Think about it. Just 60 minutes. That's 4% of your day. Yet most people will give hours to scrolling, gossiping, complaining, and waiting for life to change. But they won't give even 1 hour to themselves. And that is why so many people never become the person they were meant to be. Change doesn't require luck. It requires a decision. If you're not living the life you want, it's not because you're broken or incapable. It's because your time has been feeding the wrong things. Time is a mirror. It reflects your priorities, your standards, and what you truly believe you deserve. And what you choose to do with 1 hour a day says more about your future than anything else. Give yourself 1 hour not to escape, but to build, to study, to train, to think, to grow, to finally invest in the life you've been talking about for years. If you do that, even for a short while, you won't recognize yourself. You won't need a miracle. You won't need an overnight transformation. You'll need a chair, a notebook, and honesty. You'll need a quiet space and the discipline to show up. You'll need consistency, not perfection, because 1 hour a day is enough to sharpen your mind. And when your mind sharpens, your life follows. You start thinking clearer. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop reacting and start leading yourself. That's when real change begins. You already have the time. You just haven't claimed it yet. People say they're busy. Busy with what? Busy for whom? Busy running in circles, but not moving forward? You cannot be too busy to become better. Because if you don't make time for growth, life will eventually make time for regret. Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Use your hour to take full responsibility. Sit with yourself and be brutally honest. If you've been lazy, admit it. If you've been distracted, acknowledge it. If you've been waiting for someone else to save you, stop. No one is coming. And that isn't depressing, it's empowering. Because if your future is in your hands, then you can finally build it. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be brilliant. You don't need to be fast. But you must be consistent. You must show up for yourself even when you're tired, even when you're unmotivated, even when life gets loud. That 1 hour becomes your advantage. While others stay stuck, you grow. While others complain, you learn. While others make excuses, you may progress. This is the difference between people who live intentionally and people who simply exist. Start simple, but start. Use that hour to read something meaningful. Not noise, not junk, but words that sharpen the mind. Use that hour to write, to untangle your thoughts, find clarity, understand yourself. Use that hour to train, to push your body, to build discipline that carries over into every part of your life. Use that hour to build a skill, a business, a project, something that moves your future forward. And if you're not good at it yet, perfect. That's the point of practice. Progress isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's the quiet steps repeated daily. And yes, you'll miss a day. You might miss two. But you don't quit. You don't punish yourself. You return. You restart. That's real strength. 1 hour a day doesn't just change what you can do. It changes who you become. It changes how you walk, how you speak, what you tolerate, how you carry yourself. You begin to trust yourself again because you finally keep your own promises. Most people break promises to themselves so often that they stop believing they can change at all. They think they lack discipline. They think success is too far away. But the truth is simple. They never committed to one focused hour a day. Success isn't a mystery. It's a choice you make daily. Choosing means saying no to things that steal your focus. It means protecting your time. It means showing up especially when no one is watching. That's where character is built. 1 hour a day teaches you that your future matters more than your comfort. It teaches you that time is not a trap, it's a weapon. And when you learn to wield it, your confidence rises. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop waiting for approval. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. Because the life you want doesn't come from luck. It comes from effort, consistent, intentional effort. 1 hour a day becomes 30 hours in a month, 180 hours in 6 months, 365 hours in a year, 365 hours of choosing yourself. While others stay stuck in the same cycle of excuses, you evolve. So ask yourself, are you using your time to escape or to evolve? Because 1 hour will not change your life if you treat it carelessly. But if you protect it like your future depends on it, it will rebuild you. Start today. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for motivation. Motivation comes after action. Just begin. Set your hour. Guard it. Show up for it. Show up for you. Because if you can give yourself 1 honest hour a day, you will feel something powerful rising inside you. Momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds courage. And courage changes lives. Not someday. Not next year. Today. 1 hour a day can change your life. But only when you finally choose yourself. Chapter 2. Get out of bed and take back your day. Most people don't realize what they lose the moment they hit the snooze button. It's not just a few minutes of sleep. It's control. It's intention. It's ownership of the day. When you stay in bed longer than you promised yourself, something else takes over. Your old habits, your mood, your excuses, your comfort. And the longer you live that way, the less you feel like the author of your own life. That's why getting out of bed early and on your own terms matters more than anyone admits. It's not just about waking up. It's about waking up to your life. Every morning you delay rising is another morning you delay becoming who you're meant to be. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because you haven't made the decision to lead your day instead of being dragged through it. When you don't lead your day, the day leads you. And the day rarely takes you where you want to go. Waking up early is not time management. It's life management. The first decision you make each morning sets the tone for every decision that follows. If your first move is hesitation, your day becomes scattered. If your first move is doubt, your confidence stays low. But if your first move is action, no matter how small, you begin the day with power. Getting out of bed when you said you would, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's cold, even when no one will ever know, teaches you something vital. You can control yourself. And when you feel in control of yourself, everything else in life becomes more manageable. You stop letting emotions dictate your choices. You stop repeating the same old patterns. You start living based on who you want to become, not what you feel like in the moment. People talk about wanting to change their lives, but change doesn't start at the gym, at work, or in a book. Change starts in the morning. It starts the moment your alarm rings and you choose to rise. Real discipline is quiet. It happens in the darkness of your room, long before the world sees anything. It happens when you choose action over comfort. You don't need to be excited to get up. You just need to be willing. You need to stop waiting for motivation, because if you wait to feel ready, you'll wait your whole life. Progress doesn't start when you feel like moving. Progress starts when you move first. Those early hours become your edge. The people who get ahead in life aren't always the smartest. They aren't the most gifted. They're the ones who show up before the world wakes up. They don't negotiate with the alarm clock. They don't waste their morning arguing with comfort. They rise because they know the truth. The first hour of the day is the most honest hour you will ever have. No noise, no pressure, no distractions. Just you and your choices. And those choices build momentum. One early morning becomes two. Two becomes a week. A week becomes a month. And a month turns into a version of you that is sharper, stronger, and more disciplined. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Anyone can talk about changing their life. Anyone can say tomorrow. But only a few get up and do it day after day after day. You must decide what kind of person you want to be. Someone who lives on snooze, or someone who lives on purpose. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You have to take it. And it starts with the very first thing you do each morning. There's a power in being awake while the world is silent. In those early hours, you find clarity. You find focus. You find yourself. No one is demanding anything from you. No notifications, no noise, no chaos. Just a blank slate. Your chance to move your life forward before the world gets to you. Most people never get that chance because they sleep through it. They think they'll grab it later. But later becomes never when waiting becomes a habit. The version of you you're trying to meet, the confident you, the disciplined you, the successful you, is on the other side of consistency. And consistency begins every morning, long before things get easy. Your future is built in the moments you want to stay in bed. When the room is dark, when the air is cold, when your bed feels better than your goals. That is the moment that shapes your life. Every time you ignore the 5 more minutes voice, you build strength. Every time you rise when you want to stay down, you build identity. You become someone you respect. Confidence isn't built from applause or approval. It's built by keeping promises to yourself. This isn't about becoming a machine. It's not about waking up at 4 a.m. like a robot every day. It's about taking back your time and your direction. You don't need extreme mornings. You need consistent ones. Wake up early enough to work on something that matters. Not what the world demands, not what distractions throw at you, but what your future self will thank you for. If you've been feeling stuck, start here. Not with a perfect plan, not with a dramatic overhaul. With one simple act. Get up. Reclaim the morning. Reclaim your day. Use the early hour to think, to write, to breathe, to move, to grow, to prepare, to build. The first hour of the day can make the other 23 easier to face. When you begin the day with power, you carry that power everywhere. But if you begin with delay, distraction, or self-doubt, that energy follows you too. Your mindset in the morning leaks into everything. Your work, your relationships, your confidence, your decisions. That's why you must protect it. Don't wake up to chaos. Don't wake up to the world's demands. Wake up with intention. Wake up with direction. Wake up with purpose. Comfort feels good now, but it costs you later. Staying in bed feels great in the moment, but it costs you your goals. It costs you your growth. It costs you your potential. That cost piles up over time. In missed opportunities. In wasted potential. In frustration you can't explain. You start wondering why nothing is working, when the truth is simple. You've been giving your day away before it even began. But the moment you face that truth, you can change everything. You don't need a miracle. You need movement. You need that first step, the one where your feet hit the floor. That's your first victory. Win that one, and the rest of the day begins to obey you. So take that decision seriously. It's not just about waking up. It's about showing up. It's about doing what matters before the world gets the chance to distract you. And when you do that consistently, you become unstoppable. Take back your mornings. Take back your decisions. Take back your day. Because the moment you rise with intention, the world changes how it responds to you. But even more importantly, you change how you respond to yourself. Chapter 3. Put your attention where your future actually grows. Everyone wants a better future, but most never reach it. Not because they lack desire, but because they keep pouring their attention into the wrong things. Your life moves in the direction of your focus. If your attention is scattered, so is your progress. If your attention is buried in what doesn't matter, your energy bleeds into short-term comfort while your long-term transformation starves. This is the truth most people avoid. Your future is shaped by what you pay attention to when no one is watching. You can say you want success. You can say you want growth. But words don't build anything. Attention does. If your mind is wrapped around drama, comparison, other people's opinions, or the noise that keeps you small, then you're feeding the parts of your life that don't move you forward. Your attention is your power. Where it goes, your energy follows. And where your energy goes, your results begin to form. Every day, you make choices about what to think, what to chase, what to give your time to. And if you constantly allow distractions to hijack your mind, you will live life reacting instead of creating. The dangerous part? Most distractions don't even look like distractions. They look like notifications, like entertainment, like small quick tasks, like conversations that drain you instead of build you. Little by little, these small distractions steal the focus that should be growing your future, and no one will protect your attention for you. The world profits from your distraction, your future doesn't. Growth only happens when you place your attention on what truly matters. That means training your mind to resist what's easy and choose what's meaningful. Not occasionally, but every single day. Ask yourself honestly, what are you giving your attention to? Are you replaying what went wrong? Are you obsessing over who viewed your post? Are you letting fear occupy space in your mind rent-free? Attention is limited. Once spent, it's gone. And if you're not intentional, you will lose years without moving an inch closer to the life you talk about. You don't need more time. You need better focus. If you locked in on one meaningful goal for just 1 hour a day for a full year, you would become unrecognizable. But we live in a world that tries to pull your mind in 50 directions every second. Scroll this. Click that. Reply here. React there. If you don't take control, your life will become a collection of interruptions instead of achievements. This isn't about working harder. It's about making sure the work you do counts. You could spend 5 hours doing 10 meaningless things, or 1 single hour building something that actually changes your life. That's the difference between movement and progress. And that difference is decided by where your attention goes. Train yourself to notice when you're drifting. When your mind wanders into what drains you, bring it back. Your focus is not a machine, you control it. And like a muscle, the more you train it, the stronger it becomes. At first, staying locked in feels uncomfortable. But over time, you'll think clearer, work deeper, and move faster toward the person you're trying to become. Start by deciding where your focus actually belongs. Maybe it's the project you've been avoiding. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's learning a skill that will elevate your future. Maybe it's fixing the part of your life you've ignored for too long. Whatever it is, give it your best energy. Not the leftovers. Not what's convenient. Your best. Because what you feed grows. You must also protect your mind from information overload. You don't need to know everything happening everywhere. You don't need to absorb every headline, every comment, every opinion. Too much noise destroys clarity. Without clarity, attention becomes weak and scattered. Be selective with what you allow into your mind. Choose what strengthens your thinking, not what numbs it. Your attention shapes your identity. Focus on progress, on effort, on growth, and you'll see yourself as someone capable, disciplined, in control. Let your attention scatter, and you'll feel anxious, restless, and unfulfilled. Not because life is broken, but because your focus is unfocused. This shift won't happen by accident. It only happens through daily discipline. Wake up and choose what gets your attention before the world chooses for you. Set boundaries. Silence what distracts you. Say no to what pulls you off course. Not because you're rude, but because you're building something powerful. The most successful people guard their attention like it's gold because it is. They don't give everyone access to their mind. They don't respond to every notification. They don't waste hours explaining themselves to people who don't matter. They focus. They protect their time. They stay committed to what moves them forward. You can do the same, but you have to stop trying to do everything at once. You can't multitask your way to mastery. What you need is depth, and depth only comes from giving one thing your full attention. That's how skill is built. That's how confidence is earned. That's how change becomes real. So look at your life honestly. Where is your attention going right now? Who or what gets most of your mental energy? And is it helping you grow or just keeping you busy? You don't have to tackle everything today, but you do have to focus on something that matters. Even for just 1 hour, put your attention where your future actually grows. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it until discipline becomes your default. Because if you keep doing that, you won't have to chase success. You'll become the kind of person who attracts it through clarity, focus, and the daily decision to prioritize what truly matters. Chapter 4. Build something meaningful with your time today. Every morning, you wake up with time in your hands. And whether you realize it or not, that time is either building you or breaking you. Most people don't use their time. They react to it. They wake up and immediately check their phone. They scroll through other people's lives. They run from one meaningless task to the next. And when the day ends, they have given hours of their life to things that didn't matter, didn't grow them, didn't move them forward. Then they wonder why they feel empty, why life feels stuck, why nothing feels meaningful. It's because nothing they did that day was meaningful. You have time, maybe not endless, maybe not perfectly planned, but you have time, and inside that time sits a choice. Do you repeat yesterday, or do you build something today? That's the difference between people who evolve and people who stay stuck. It's not luck. It's not opportunity. It's the way they use their time, especially the hours no one else sees. Most people say they're too busy, but what they really mean is that they haven't made what matters a priority. You always find time for what's important. So ask yourself honestly, is your growth important enough to make the list? Building something meaningful takes effort. It takes focus. It takes sitting down, even when you don't feel like it, and working on something that matters. Not for praise, not for validation, but because you know it carries weight. That's what gives your life purpose. Not routines, not checking boxes, but creating something with intention, something you can look at tomorrow and feel proud of. You don't need the perfect moment to begin. You don't need a perfect plan. All you need is to use what you have. Your mind, your energy, your hour, your vision. Maybe it's writing a page. Maybe it's recording your ideas. Maybe it's designing something new. Maybe it's working on your health. Maybe it's learning a skill that stretches you into your next level. It doesn't matter what you build. What matters is that you're building. Because the moment you begin creating something meaningful, something shifts inside you. You stop drifting. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop feeling lost. You wake up with direction. Most people don't need a break. They need a mission. They need a reason to use their hours with intention. Your time is not just for surviving. It's for building. It's for doing the work that outlasts the moment. You don't have to finish everything today, but you do have to start. Give yourself permission to work on your vision, even if it's small, even if it's quiet, even if no one understands it yet. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you'll wait your entire life. Life won't pause for you. You must create room for your growth inside the life you already have. There is real strength in showing up for goals no one applauds yet. You don't need validation. You don't need permission. You need consistency. You need to remind yourself daily that your time is valuable, and what you do with it will shape your future. That's not pressure. That's power, because it means you don't have to wait on anyone. You can begin today. Don't let comparison distract you from your path. Don't let someone else's timeline make you feel behind. You're not late. You're just unfocused. And the fastest way back to progress is simple. Sit down and begin again. Begin again with one step, one idea, 1 hour, one page, one action that moves you closer to who you can become. You're not stuck. You're simply not building. But once you start, momentum will meet you halfway. You don't need to change your life in a single day. But every day, you can change something. Wake up and decide. Today, I build. That mindset alone can transform your life. You stop waking up wondering how to get through the day. You start waking up asking, what can I create with the time I have? That's how you take back control. That's how you stop feeling like a passenger and start feeling like the driver. Everyone wants results. Few want the process. And the process is simple. Show up. Do the work. Quietly. Consistently. Intentionally. Real growth lives in that space between intention and action. And the bridge between the two is your time. Take one focused hour today. Guard it. Protect it. Use it not to scroll, not to kill time, but to build something that strengthens your life. Because when you build, you create progress. And progress creates hope. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're moving. Building turns doubt into direction. Excuses into effort. Fear into responsibility. You stop waiting to feel ready. You become ready through doing. There's no perfect moment to begin. But every moment you delay is a moment lost. That is the cost of waiting. And that's why today matters. With the time you have, with the energy you have left, use it. Create with it. Build with it. Small steps, taken consistently, create foundations stronger than you can imagine. One day, you'll look back and realize it wasn't the big moments that changed your life. It was the quiet daily decision to give your time to something meaningful. Not because it was easy, not because it was fast, but because it was yours. You built it. You showed up for it. You committed to it. And you grew because of it. So build your mind. Build your skill. Build your peace. Build your future. Do it today. Because today is the only day you can work with. Give your time a purpose, and your life will rise to match it. Chapter 5. Learn one useful thing that makes you grow. Growth doesn't come from doing more. It comes from knowing more, usefully. Not random facts. Not mindless information. But the kind of learning that reshapes how you think, how you decide, how you move through the world. Every single day, life gives you a chance to learn something that strengthens you. Something that sharpens your judgment, improves your decision-making, elevates your confidence. But most people never take that chance. They wait. They delay. They drown in distraction. They choose entertainment over education. And then wonder why they feel stuck, why they keep repeating the same cycles, why nothing ever changes. If you want to grow, you must become someone who learns on purpose. Not occasionally, not when it's convenient. Daily, consistently, intentionally. And the good news? You don't need hours. You don't need a classroom. You only need one useful idea, just one, that makes your life even slightly better. One insight that helps you manage your emotions. One concept that improves how you think about money, time, stress, relationships, responsibility. One perspective that shifts how you approach your goals. Your next level depends on what you know. You cannot act better until you think better. And you won't think better until you learn better. Every problem you face is either something you already understand or something you haven't learned how to handle yet. When you stop learning, you stop growing. You stay stuck at the level of your last breakthrough. You solve today's problems with yesterday's thinking. You repeat the same mistakes, not because you're lazy, but because you haven't learned a better way yet. So make the rules simple. One useful thing a day. It might come from a book, a podcast, a quote that hits you hard, a conversation with someone wiser, a mistake that finally teaches you something. The source doesn't matter. The usefulness does. Does it help you think clearer? Does it improve how you use your time? Does it shift your behavior, even slightly? Does it make you stronger tomorrow than you were today? Because growth isn't stuffing your mind with information. Growth is when a single idea becomes something you actually live by. You understand it. You write it down. You reflect on it. You ask, how does this apply to my life today? That's the kind of learning that changes you, not loudly, not instantly, but deeply, quietly, steadily. Learning doesn't require genius. It requires hunger. A hunger to improve. A hunger to break cycles. A hunger to stop living the same year over and over again. You can learn from anything when you're paying attention. But most people aren't paying attention. They scroll more than they think. They chase hacks instead of mastery. They consume noise instead of wisdom. It's not a lack of potential. It's a lack of focused learning. If you want a better life, you must learn how life works, how your mind shapes your future, how habits create your direction, how emotions must be managed, how momentum is built, how to communicate with clarity, how to think long-term instead of reacting in the moment. None of this happens accidentally. It happens when you wake up daily and ask, what can I learn today that will make me better tomorrow? One useful thing a day. That's it. 30 days from now, that's 30 new mental tools, 30 better decisions, 30 shifts in the way you see the world. And the magic is this. Those ideas start connecting. They build on each other. And suddenly you're moving differently, more confident, more thoughtful, more strategic. You don't wait for motivation to learn. Learning is discipline, a non-negotiable part of your routine. You don't always feel like doing it, but you do it because you understand your future depends on it. You don't need 10 books a week. You just need one paragraph that hits you hard enough to change your behavior. Because behavior is what changes results. Learning is also the antidote to fear. When you feel stuck, confused, uncertain, it's not a sign you're broken. It's a signal. You need to grow. You need clarity. You need new understanding. Most fear is born from confusion. Learning dissolves confusion, and clarity creates direction. So make a promise. Never let a day pass without learning something that helps you grow. Not trivia, not noise, not surface-level motivation. Something that actually strengthens you. And don't just absorb it. Use it. Write it. Teach it. Practice it. Apply it. The more you interact with what you learn, the more it becomes part of you. And once it becomes part of you, your life begins to shift, not just in what you know, but in how you live. Protect your mind. Feed it wisely. Don't let random content shape you. Choose what builds you, sharpens you, challenges you to rise higher. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, only the most committed to learning. That's the person who grows. That's the person who evolves. That's the person who becomes unstoppable. Growth is not perfection. Growth is attention to what you learn, and how you apply it. The most powerful people in the world aren't the loudest. They're the ones who think clearly, speak with weight, and move with wisdom. You can become that person, but you must decide. You must make learning a daily, sacred habit. Every time you learn something useful, you grow a little stronger, a little clearer, a little more in control. And that momentum adds up. So start today. Learn one useful thing, just one. Do it again tomorrow, and the next day. And if you stay consistent, your life will transform. Not all at once, but day by day, idea by idea, shift by shift. Growth is a choice, and it begins with what you decide to learn today. Chapter 6. Do something physical to feel strong and awake. Your body carries the energy you need to build your future. Not your excuses, not your intentions. Your body. But most people never access that energy because they don't move. They sit for hours. They stay still. They grow tired doing nothing. And when you stop using your body with purpose, you lose the clarity, the strength, and the internal fire that your goals demand. Doing something physical every day isn't about looking good. It's about waking up completely. It's about being present in your own skin. It's about reminding yourself that you were not created to sit and watch your life pass by. You don't need to be an athlete. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need the perfect routine. What you need is movement, action, effort, a reminder that your body exists for more than comfort. Because when your body moves, your mind shifts. The fog lifts. Your thoughts become sharper. Your excuses grow softer. You feel alive again, alive in a way that thinking alone can never achieve. When your heart is pumping and your blood is flowing, something inside you reconnects. You stop doubting. You stop overthinking. You start believing in your ability to handle whatever lies ahead. This is more than exercise. This is power building. This is creating strength from the inside out. There's a big difference between being tired from effort and being drained from doing too little. Most people feel exhausted not because they're overworked, but because they're undermoved. Their body is stiff, their mind is heavy, their energy is low, not from action, but from inaction. All of that can change quickly by choosing movement. Stand up, stretch, walk, do push UPS. Go outside, wake your body back up. Movement creates momentum. It puts you in control of your state. If you feel stuck, numb, or low, one of the fastest ways to shift your energy is to move. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient, but as a daily habit. Stop waiting for energy. Generate it. Your body is a tool. Use it. Even 10 minutes of intentional movement can reset your entire day. It doesn't have to be intense. It only has to be consistent. You cannot think your way into a better life while ignoring the vehicle you live inside. A tired body creates a foggy mind. A strong body supports clear thinking. When you develop physical discipline, you build emotional strength too. You become better at handling pressure. You build resilience. You push through resistance faster. You become the kind of person who keeps going even when it's uncomfortable. And that physical discipline leaks into everything else. Your work, your relationships, your focus, your confidence. When you move even when you don't feel like it, you're teaching your mind to act without permission from your feelings. That is real strength. That is how you learn to trust yourself. You will never regret moving your body, but you will regret the days you put it off. You'll regret the mornings you stayed in bed too long, the weeks when your muscles weakened, the months when your drive faded. Every day you skip movement, you train yourself to tolerate low energy. You train yourself to settle. And over time, that becomes the version of you that you accept. But that version is not your limit. You can change it. And the change begins with one decision: to move today. You don't have to follow anyone else's routine. You just need something that works for you. Walking, stretching, bodyweight exercises, skipping rope, yoga, dancing in your room. It doesn't have to be impressive. It has to be consistent. Because consistency becomes identity. And when movement becomes who you are, your energy rises, your focus sharpens, and your life starts to feel like it's moving forward again. Your body was made to move. Don't let it weaken from inactivity. Doing something physical in the morning sets the tone for your entire day. You activate your strength. You take ownership of how you feel. You tell yourself, I'm in control. You stop reacting to the day. You create it. Some people wait for motivation, but motivation arrives after you move, not before. So stop chasing the right mood. Start choosing the right actions. Movement builds self-respect. Every time you push through resistance, you strengthen your discipline. You become someone who keeps promises to themselves. And that builds a kind of quiet confidence that nothing else can match. No one can move for you. No one can exercise on your behalf. No one can build the strength that only comes through effort. But that's the opportunity. The effort you give to your physical self always returns as clarity, focus, and energy. If you've been tired, off, or overwhelmed, start moving. Not to chase perfection, not to look a certain way, but to feel fully awake again. You don't need caffeine. You need consistency, a daily pattern of choosing strength over comfort. When you feel strong in your own body, you think differently. You speak with more certainty. You take action without hesitation. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about being fully present, fully alive, fully capable. Wherever you're starting, you can improve. However long it's been, you can begin again. You're not behind. You're just untrained. And once you start moving, your body will remember. It wants strength. It wants energy. It wants life. Give it that chance. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't overthink. Just get up and move. Do something that takes effort. Do something that wakes your blood. Do something that reminds you that you are alive. Because once your body wakes up, your mind follows. Your confidence follows. Your discipline follows. Your entire life follows. The goal is not to be extreme. The goal is to be consistent. Move daily. Move intentionally. Move because your future deserves a stronger you. Take care of your body, and it will take care of everything else. You owe it to yourself to feel strong, to feel capable, to feel alive. You have what it takes. Now, prove it with action. Chapter 7. Slow down and face what's inside. Most people live their lives in a blur. Wake up, jump into tasks, check the phone, move, scroll, react, fall asleep. And in all that motion, they never stop to ask, how do I really feel? Rushing has become a habit because stillness feels uncomfortable. They ignore the heaviness, the fatigue, the irritation, the disconnect. They believe productivity is measured in busyness. But real progress comes from awareness. And awareness only appears when you slow down and look inward. You cannot fix what you refuse to face. You cannot change what you refuse to see. And if you never pause long enough to notice, nothing will shift. Growth demands questions. Hard questions. Questions you cannot answer in the middle of chaos. What am I avoiding? What am I holding onto that no longer serves me? What am I angry about? These questions don't appear when you're moving fast. They show up when you sit still, when you are honest, and when you are willing to confront reality. It's easy to get lost in tasks and routines. You can perform perfectly on the outside and fall apart on the inside. You can smile for everyone else while feeling hollow alone. You can appear composed while carrying pressure only you know exists. And that pressure never disappears on its own. It grows. It accumulates. If ignored, it will break you. You don't need more noise. You need clarity. You need quiet. A pause that isn't escape, isn't scrolling, isn't distraction. A pause where you actually listen to yourself. Because the answers you're searching for aren't out there. They're already inside, waiting for you to slow down enough to hear them. Slowing down is not weakness. It is strength. It is courage. It is choosing awareness over avoidance. It is facing what is real instead of pretending everything is fine. Ask yourself, am I acting out of habit or intention? Am I avoiding something I should confront? Am I clear on what I want? Am I honoring myself the way I deserve? These questions are not small. They guide your direction, because it is possible to work hard and move fast in the wrong direction. It is possible to check off goals that no longer match who you are. And the only way to notice is to look within. Make it a daily practice. Block time to breathe, to reflect, to ask yourself what's working and what isn't. This isn't overthinking. This is taking responsibility for your inner world. Your thoughts shape your results. Your emotions shape your energy. Your clarity shapes your focus. Sit with yourself. No music, no phone, no distractions. Ask the real questions. Am I carrying resentment? Am I afraid of something? Am I stuck in patterns that no longer serve me? Answer honestly. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending. This is where change begins. Most people avoid this because it is uncomfortable. It's easier to stay busy. It's easier to blame others. It's easier to scroll. But nothing changes until you face the truth. No one else can do this for you. It is your work, your responsibility, your growth. When you slow down, you start seeing clearly. Your frustration isn't always about today. It's about what you never healed yesterday. Your stress isn't always external. It's often internal. Your lack of energy isn't always physical. It's emotional. Seeing this gives you power, not power over others, power over yourself. It lets you release what's holding you back. It lets you move forward without dragging the past behind you. You cannot move into your future while avoiding your present. You cannot build peace while carrying confusion. So stop running. Stop escaping. Pause. Check in. Ask yourself, am I proud of how I've been thinking? Am I treating myself with respect? Am I allowing fear to decide my actions? These are the questions you ask when you stop pretending to be okay and start actually being okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. Awareness gives clarity. Clarity gives focus. Focus gives power. Slowing down reconnects you with your values, with your vision, with your purpose. It clears the mental clutter so you can act with intention. This is the kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. It comes from being aligned with your truth. Don't wait for a breakdown to start checking in. Start today. Take a few minutes to slow down. Turn it all off. Close your eyes. Listen to the real version of yourself, not the version you show the world. Your inner world is always giving you feedback. You just need to slow down enough to hear it. Do this consistently, and you become stronger. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You stop reacting. You stop carrying pain that isn't yours. You stop making choices from fear or pressure. You start choosing what is right for you. You start becoming grounded, focused, self-aware. This is real power. It is not a one-time thing. It is a lifelong practice. Growth is constant change, and change requires awareness. Don't be afraid to go deep. Don't be afraid to face what is real. Slowing down is not doing less. It is living with more clarity, more purpose, more depth. Stop pretending. Start being honest. Listen. Pay attention. Every signal matters. Every thought matters. Your greatest growth will come not from pushing harder, but from understanding yourself better. Create space. Slow down. Look within. Start now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Sit down. Breathe. Ask the real questions. Feel what's there. You don't need to rush. You just need to be real. Because once you do, everything in your life begins to align. Chapter 8. Face the problem you keep running from. We all have that one problem. The one that lingers in the background. The one that creeps into your thoughts when you're alone. The one you tell yourself you'll deal with later, only later never comes. You bury it under noise. Responsibilities, distractions, excuses, but it's still there. Deep down, you know that no real progress will happen until you stop running and finally face it. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You just need to stop avoiding it. That conversation you've postponed. That decision you keep dodging. That habit you refuse to change. That responsibility you've delayed. It's not going anywhere. Ignoring it hasn't made it disappear. It's been growing quietly, silently, feeding on your avoidance. Every step you take away from it gives it more power. And eventually, it begins to drain your energy, cloud your focus, and chip away at your self-respect. Running from what matters is what keeps momentum from forming. You already know the problem. You don't need anyone to point it out. It's the one thought that shows up when your mind goes quiet. The one truth you avoid talking about. Not fixing it is costing you, already. Your peace, your energy, your ability to fully show up in your life. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need perfection. You just need to pick the one thing you've been avoiding and take the first step. The longer you wait, the heavier it becomes. That weight doesn't vanish. It just hides behind your busyness. But the moment you confront it, everything shifts. You stop running. You stop lying to yourself. You stop letting fear decide for you. Real change begins the moment you face what you've been avoiding. Start with honesty. Ask yourself, what am I really avoiding? What have I delayed for too long? Maybe it's taking responsibility for something you did. Maybe it's ending a situation that no longer serves you. Maybe it's setting a boundary you should have set years ago. Maybe it's admitting that your old habits aren't working anymore. Avoidance never makes things easier. Action does. Facing a problem doesn't mean you solve it perfectly. It means you stop pretending it's not there. You stop minimizing it. You stop acting like you're okay when you're not. Acknowledgement is your first victory. No blame, no excuses, just truth. I've been avoiding this, and it's holding me back. That simple statement can break the pattern. Fixing something doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be a phone call you've been putting off, a small change in your routine, a decision to forgive, a decision to quit, a decision to begin again. What makes it powerful isn't the action itself. It's the intention behind it. You're no longer running. You're stepping into responsibility. You're reclaiming control over your life instead of letting an unresolved issue pull you in every direction. Fear and resistance may show up. That's normal. They mean you're touching something real, and real things are worth facing. Avoidance might feel safe now, but it always steals from you in the long run. It chips away at your confidence. It drains your drive. It whispers lies. You can't handle this. That's false. You can. You just tricked yourself into thinking safety is the goal. But growth, strength, and freedom are the real goals. And freedom only comes when you face the thing keeping you stuck. You don't need to fix the whole world, just that one problem that pulls your energy away from who you're becoming. Ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped running from this? How will my life change if this no longer held me back? The answer is obvious. You'd feel lighter, clearer, capable again. So don't wait. Take the first uncomfortable step. Have a hard talk. Make the bold decision. Clear the weight you've been carrying for too long. You're not weak for having problems. You are human, but you become strong the moment you stop avoiding them. The moment you say, "This stops with me." That decision alone gives you clarity. Once you stop hiding from the truth, you begin moving with purpose again. You don't have to do it all today. You just have to begin. And here's what waits on the other side of that first step. Relief. Not from escape, not from pretending, but from courage. From knowing you're facing life head on. From living aligned with the person you want to be. Fixing the problem you've been running from transforms how you see yourself. You start trusting yourself again. Walking with confidence. Making decisions faster. Because you're no longer the person who avoids reality. You are the person who faces it. This is your moment. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to take control back. Pick one issue, one area of your life that demands your attention. Step into it with honesty. Step into it with courage. Step into it knowing you're capable of handling what you've been afraid of. You're not stuck. You're just distracted by avoidance. Clear that distraction, and you unlock a new level of focus, peace, and drive. Once you feel that, you'll wonder why you waited so long. Don't let the day end without doing something to fix that one problem. Make the call. Write the plan. Speak the truth. Release what's holding you. Repair what needs fixing. Just begin. The version of you who lives without that burden is already inside you. You just need to act like they're real. Starting today. Chapter 9. Track your actions. Own your growth. If you're not tracking what you do, you're guessing. And when you guess, you surrender control. You rely on memory, on feelings, on assumptions, on everything but reality. That's how people work hard, yet never move forward. They think they're consistent. They think they're disciplined. Some days they show up. Most days they don't. Some days they focus. Most days they drift. That's not growth. That's frustration. Tracking your actions changes everything. Not typing on a screen. Not relying on memory. Writing. On paper. By hand. Because the page doesn't lie. The notebook doesn't care about excuses. It reflects truth. Your truth. When you track, you see your patterns. You stop guessing. You stop pretending. You know, without opinion, without hope, exactly where you are and exactly what to do next. Tracking doesn't have to be complicated. What did I do today that moved me closer to my goals? What did I avoid? Where did my time go? What can I improve tomorrow? These aren't questions. They're mirrors. And mirrors don't cheat. They don't comfort. They show you what's real. Most people fail because they aren't aware of their inconsistency. They start strong, then fade. They perform brilliantly on Monday and forget by Friday. They wait for motivation to return, but doesn't. Not because they lack effort. Not because they don't care. Because they have no system, no tracking, no review, no rhythm. And without rhythm, you lose flow. You lose discipline. You lose momentum. Daily tracking is your antidote. It's how you stay honest. Not to anyone else, but to yourself. At the end of each day, you can ask, did I do what I said I would? That question alone can transform your life. It forces you to measure effort, not intention. It forces you to deal with facts, not feelings. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to hit every goal. You just need to show up and track. Did you try? Did you push forward? Even a little, that matters. Consistency builds confidence. And confidence grows when you keep your promises to yourself. Consistency doesn't mean massive action. It means showing up when it's hard. It means doing what you said you'd do, especially on the days you don't feel like it. Track your habits for 30 days, and you'll know yourself better than most do in years. You'll see when you perform best. You'll notice your distractions. You'll discover where your excuses hide. That kind of awareness puts you in the driver's seat. You stop being reactive. You stop guessing. You start leading your life. No one becomes great by accident. Every person you admire tracks their actions. They reflect. They review. They adjust. That's how progress becomes real. That's how momentum becomes unstoppable. And when progress is visible, you don't need motivation. You feed on results. Tracking isn't punishment. It's ownership. It's learning from patterns so you can create better ones. You don't change by trying harder. You change by tracking smarter. Every time you write something down, you reclaim control from distraction, excuses, and forgetfulness. You make your growth visible. You turn the invisible into something measurable, improvable, and celebrated. Consistency is the secret no one talks about. The hardest part isn't starting, it's continuing. And that's where most people fail. They forget how far they've come. They doubt that small steps matter. But if you track your progress, you see that small steps are everything. 1 page a day, 1 workout, 1 hour of focus. Done daily, they multiply. They compound. They turn into results you can't ignore. If life feels chaotic, if your mind is scattered, if your progress seems invisible, tracking is the solution. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, pick up a pen. Start a simple list. Track what matters. Not everything, just what matters. Because what gets measured gets improved. And what gets improved gets repeated. Habits form. Growth sticks. You don't need to track forever. Just long enough to build rhythm. Once rhythm is established, life feels easier. Not because life changed, but because you did. You become more focused. You become more disciplined. You stop starting over. You stop drifting. You lock in. And that feeling of being locked in, there's nothing like it. You know you're serious about change when you track consistently. Because tracking requires effort, honesty, attention, but also gives you clarity. It shows exactly where you're strong. It reveals exactly where you're slipping. And when you know that, you can improve quickly. Stop wasting time. Stop hoping. Start building. Keep it simple. Notebook, wall calendar, chart, visual. Just something that reminds you to track daily. 5 minutes a day can save you years of confusion, doubt, and wasted effort. No shortcut. No one else can do this for you. But if you commit, stay consistent, and track your actions, you will start separating yourself from the rest. You'll start building what others only talk about. Because consistency wins long term. Track what you do. See your progress. Learn from your patterns. Stay consistent. Not just when it's easy, especially when it's hard. That's where breakthroughs happen. That's where you earn your future. 1 day, 1 page, 1 action. Stay with it. The person you become from this work will be worth every step. Chapter 10. Repeat the habit until you become unstoppable. Becoming better doesn't happen overnight. It's not a single breakthrough, one inspirational book, or a single bold decision. True change is forged in repetition, in showing up day after day, long after the excitement fades. Real growth is slow. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't care about how you feel. It demands commitment anyway. You don't need to be extreme. You don't need to impress anyone. You need to be consistent with the habits that matter. Not for a week, not for a month, but until they become part of who you are. You want to be stronger, sharper, more disciplined, more focused, more in control. Then you have to repeat the habits that build those qualities. Not once, not when it's easy. Over and over. Until they no longer require effort or negotiation. Until they become automatic. That's when transformation happens. Not because you said you would change, but because your actions no longer depend on willpower. They happen because they are now part of your identity. This is where most people fail. They want the results without the repetition. They start strong, push for a few days, then fall off. Not because they can't, but because they expect instant change. It doesn't work that way. It never does. You don't become better by trying hard for a week. You become better by continuing long after the thrill is gone. That's where character is built. That's where the old version of you gets left behind. You don't grow from occasional effort. You grow from daily discipline. The small habit. Reading, journaling, walking, meditating, training, planning. If you stick to it, it will shape your mind, sharpen your focus, and harden your will. You won't notice it at first. That's the point. It's quiet. It's slow. Then, one day you look back and realize, I'm not who I used to be. Not because I made one big move, but because I kept showing up when it wasn't fun anymore. Repetition is unglamorous. It's boring. It's quiet. It's filled with doubts, fatigue, and invisible work. That's why most people quit. But those who persist, those who stay faithful to the process, evolve. They know that action matters more than mood, that showing up imperfectly beats waiting for perfect conditions. Repetition builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you'd do, you reinforce that your words matter. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You stop negotiating with laziness. You stop letting emotion dictate your direction. You start moving with clarity. You start expecting more from yourself. Not because anyone told you to, but because you've witnessed the power of consistent action. The world screams for shortcuts. Everyone wants to skip the process. But shortcuts steal transformation. Growth lives in the habit. The real change isn't in what you intend. It's in what you repeat. Repetition doesn't just build discipline. It rebuilds your identity. You go from someone who tries to someone who lives it. You don't just run, you're a runner. You don't just eat healthy, you honor your body. You don't just write, you're a writer. When habits become identity, the struggle fades. You no longer force action. It aligns with who you've chosen to become. You might not see results yet. The mirror may look the same. Your mind may feel exhausted. But every repetition counts. Every effort compounds. Trust the process. Keep going. Long enough, and momentum will reward you. This is what separates the average from the extraordinary. The ability to keep going when motivation fades. The patience to repeat the basics when no one is watching. The courage to continue even when progress is invisible. That's how power is built. That's the foundation for everything else. Stop changing plans every few days. Pick the few habits that matter most. Repeat them without exception. Consistency over chaos. Persistence over convenience. And one day, people won't need to ask what changed. They'll see it in how you move, speak, and carry yourself. Repetition also teaches resistance. There will be days your mind screams, stop. Days when every part of you wants to quit. Those are the days that matter most. Because that's when the old you tries to return. And your job is simple. Don't let it. Show up tired. Show up uncertain. Just don't break the chain. You don't need 100 habits. You need a few that matter, and the discipline to repeat them. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous. But it works. It transforms. The people you admire aren't magical. They're consistent. They're faithful to the process. Even when it's slow. Even when it's hard. Even when it's quiet. Your brain learns through repetition. Habits form. Focus sharpens. Confidence grows. Momentum builds. And once momentum hits, everything becomes easier. Stop chasing results. Start repeating the right habits. Again and again. Until the change is visible in every fiber of your being. You know what to do. You don't need another plan. One focused action today. 1 hour of effort. One small step. Do it again tomorrow. And the day after. Repeat it until it's no longer a habit. Until it's who you are. That is how you become someone better. That is how you take control of your life. Not with noise. Not with speed. With quiet, relentless, focused repetition. That's where real change lies. And now, it's your turn to live it.